Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a little interesting one. Today we're going to be talking about playing Tank Varus in the top lane. Now Tank Varus has kind of always really sort of been a thing, right? I've did a couple of Tank Varus videos and I played Tank Varus in the ADC role, but really if you're playing ADC you shouldn't really be playing Tank Varus because you really want to maximize damage. You're the main damage carrier of the team. But, at times I get autofilled to top lane and I can't really play top lane. So yeah, I guess I could play like the easy ones like Malphite or Garen, but I chose to instead go for, a champion I can actually play building a more tanky build, right? So this is the build in question, right? So I'm going to go through the components of the build one by one. So you're first going to start with the Terminus. Terminus is going to give you AD attack speed, on-hit magic damage, stacking resistances, as well as stacking penetration. So for the most part, this is going to be like a damage item because you are at the end of the day a damage carry that is building a more tanky build. So you do still need to get damage some way or rather. So we're going to start with this one. Then you're going to go into Heartsteel second item, right? This is where the tanky stats come in. So it gives you 700 max health. It gives you health regen. It gives you 20 ability haste, which is going to come in very handy for your abilities. And then, of course, you also get that extra passive where you will deal damage and stack up health on the Heartsteel. Now, honestly, this passive is not super important. Like, it is nice to get more health, but honestly, just the base stats of Heartsteel is already pretty insane. And that's kind of what you're going after, because as a ranged champion, it's not very easy to proc Heartsteel. Right, then for your first item, you always want to rush defensive boots. So generally, you either want to be rushing the armor boots or the magic resist boots, depending on your lane opponent. And this is part of what makes you tanky as well. And after you complete Heartsteel, that's when you want to get the steel plated, or not steel plated. You want to get the Gargoyle's stone plate. Of course, upgrading from your defensive boots, because obviously the shield's gonna scale off of your health, and getting 700 health here is gonna be very helpful. Now we're going to our next damage item, which also gives us health. So we have Riftmaker giving us Omnivam true damage, as well as giving us the AP ability haste and such, right? So pretty standard Varus item, just gives you a good amount of damage. Then you go back into the tankiness, right? You're going to go for Amaranth Twin Guard, giving you both defenses as well as, of course, giving you tenacity and just even more defenses, right? So just very useful item. The only time you want to not go for this is if the enemy is full AD or full AP. Then you want to probably go for a pure armor item, a pure magic resist item here. Now, last item is incredibly flexible. I just put the Sterix as a default here because it gives you health, gives you a bit of damage as well, and gives you that lifeline shield. But in reality, you could really kind of go for anything. Or you could go for Maw, Mantle of the 12th Hour, Randuin's, Frozen Heart, Force of Nature. It really depends on what you need and what the enemy team is composed of. Right, so next up for the runes, we actually go for Lethal Tempo here, and the reason why we go for that is we only really have one attack speed item, which is the Terminus, right? So you kind of need this Lethal Tempo just for that DPS capabilities, as well as giving you extra range is also kind of helpful. And then here, you really have two options, right? So you could go for the standard, damagey loadout of going for, Brutal Giant Slayer, Alacrity, and then playing the standard ADC loadout, or you could swap it around, right? So instead of going for this, you could actually go defensive as the primary tree. So you could go for something like Nullifying or Bone Plating, and then into either Overgrowth or Perseverance, and then on the secondary one, you could then go for Alacrity just for more attack speed, which you are lacking in this build. So you could go for something like this as well, right? So for the summon spells, it's really kind of the same. You want to go for Flash, and then you can go for Cleanse if there's a lot of CC. Otherwise, Bearer, Exhaust, Ghost, all kind of works just really well as well. Even Ignite if you want to play really, really aggressively. But with all that said, let's take a look at the gameplay. Okay, so let's get into the gameplay itself, right? So here we're playing Varus in the Baron lane. Now, of course, I wouldn't really recommend anyone playing an ADC in the Baron lane, but as I've kind of explained in some of my other videos, like playing ADCs in the mid, in Baron lane, even in the jungle from time to time, basically I'm kind of the kind of mindset that most champions are quite hard to play, right? I would say even champions like Garen or Malphite, even these champions that are supposed to be easy, aren't really as easy as they appear to be, right? You do have kind of some sort of aspect of champion mastery, and honestly, I cannot be bothered to learn champions for other lanes that I would rarely play, right? Like, how often is it that I'm gonna get autofilled to top lane, right? It's generally less than 5 times a season. I get autofilled to the jungle or support role a lot more, but getting autofilled to mid or top is really a very, very rare thing. Almost never happens, so I'm not gonna bother to learn any of these champions. So the best thing I can do, in my opinion, is to play a champion I know how to play, but try to adjust it a little bit just to suit the role a bit more. That's where the tank Varus comes in, for example, where you are kind of A little bit tanky, but at the same time you do damage. Now, of course, you do have the things like Vayne top just building pure damage as well, so that also, I guess, could be an option, but yeah, I guess I could try out this. I guess I want to try out the tank Varus top and kind of show you how it goes, right? So here in the early levels, you can see we're getting a lot of damage onto the cannon. We force his flash here, and we are, relatively low, right? We try to go for the snipe here, but he actually is really wise to not stay under the tower and actually fully back off. And he actually backs off all the way and then gets the fruit. Now he's going for an all-in, but I actually get the level up right as he goes in. I get the cleanse off and then I kill him right now. Honestly, this was a really close one, right? You can see I land that with basically 0 health, 0 mana, right? And sometimes in top lane, that's just how it goes, right? Sometimes the first kill is just a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill. But really, sometimes you just get a bit lucky, you get the kill and you snowball off of that, right? So really, if I didn't get the lucky level up there, I think I would have died. If I didn't itemize into a ruby crystal on level 1 instead of, like, if I go in for like a longsword instead, I think I die as well. So the extra health from the level up and from my item actually helped me out a lot in that fight. And now Cannon is on the back foot, right? Because in top lane, whoever gets the first kill can kind of snowball the lane. You can see here that I have my defensive boots. He doesn't even have his mana boots yet, so I already have a relatively big lane advantage against him, right? So yeah, so once again, back to the original discussion topic. Basically, playing Varus top is sort of like a little bit of just the philosophy of how I play Wild Rift. Like, I'm not going to invest time and effort into learning a Garen or a Malphite, even though it's quite a simple champion. But I'm not going to first time an easy champion in rank just because, it's supposed to be an easy champion, right? I believe even the easiest champions do have skill, right? Even Yuumi takes some skill to play, right? You gotta know, when to pop your heal, how to use your ult properly, and things like that, right? So and you're also aiming your Q, right? So it's really not as easy as it seems, in my opinion, right? Even with Garen, you gotta know your damage numbers. With Malphite, you kind of gotta know how tanky you are, things like that, right? So I just decide to basically just go for a champion that I can play. Alright, so with that being said, you are likely to get flamed. Like almost every single time I've played tank Varus top, I've gotten flamed. This game, I've gotten flamed. The previous time, like previous 2, 3, 4 times I've played in tank Varus top, I've gotten flamed as well. Which is basically why I only have party chat on, and then when people start pinging me or emoting me, and then I'll just mute them, because it really doesn't matter what they think. I think that honestly what I'm doing is the best for the team. Like, playing a champion that I know how to play and I can actually play optimally, in my opinion, is way better for the team than playing a champion that I completely cannot play and then probably losing lane and just trying my best to help the team, right? So you will see that my philosophy has kind of changed over the years, right? Because in the past, I have made videos on like Malphite or like Wukong, where I basically tried to play Wukong or Malphite in the top lane. But really, I kind of felt like a fish out of water when I played those champions, because I really didn't feel like I was very good at them whatsoever. I even tried a little bit of Gnar, right? Because Gnar is kind of like a pseudo ADC in his mini form, where he has range and he auto attacks, but really his range is kind of trash, because obviously he's not really a true range champion, and he's really not easy to play, having to manage your rage bar, right? So I dabbled a little bit into Gnar. Like, I say dabbled, I mean a couple of games, but yeah, it really is not worth for me to invest the time. So here we are with the tank Varus top instead. Right, so here we've gone into a couple of trades with the cannon, and you can see our lead against him is slowly growing, right? You will note that 1 kill is like about 300 gold only, but you can see that the lead we have against him is about 800 gold. And the reason why that has happened is, of course, because with the lead that we have, we're able to take more aggressive trades. We're able to pressure him a little bit more, and he is forced to kind of lose a little bit more minions, because obviously we're playing range versus range. He's not playing range versus melee. Cannon typically plays against melee champions, so typically Cannon is the aggressor. But here instead, he's kind of a little bit on the back foot here, having to kind of be more on the running away side rather than the running you down side. So here I get off a couple autos, just trying to kind of chase him away a little bit. Fight is going on over at the dragon, which has of course spawned. I'm gonna get a ward down here just to check my enemy vision. Now here I'm thinking Cannon might want to go in on me with the ult, but I'm level 9, so I have level 2 ult, whereas he only has level 1 ult. So I'm really not scared. I also have my cleanse and my flash up, so I was actually kind of hoping he would take a fight with me there, and then I could use my summon spells. I probably could get the kill on him. Now here I'm gonna secure the the Scorpion. And the fight is kind of transitioning over to the Herald area, so I'm going to try to make use of the Varus Q to just clear the wave and then rotate. So I will get the rotation off before Cannon. I should have killed the Skullcrab, by the way, but I was really just panning to the fight and focusing on the fight. Here I expend my ulti just to ensure that we don't, to ensure that our Amumu doesn't die, and then we get the second kill onto the Diana. And here Amumu is still chasing at 1 HP, but Cannon uses all of his spells, so it's completely fine. 2 wards in the pit here, we're going to remove both of them. We secure the Herald, and the fight continues. Rakan goes in. Honestly, I thought I would die here, but the issue with Rakan as well as Cannon is they both do mainly magic damage, right? And of course, as you guys know, I have the magic resist boot, so they will honestly make me a lot more tanky than what I actually imagined. So I actually end up surviving there with a decent amount of HP left. And here the fight continues. Diana's going in, Galio with the ulti, Yasuo is now here, gets the 2-man taunt, but unfortunately the wind wall is put up in a very good position. I can't really follow up any kind of damage here, so we are just going to back off and get off a reset. Everyone here is really low on my team, and we've more or less been pretty successful. So in the end of game stats, you will notice that I don't really do the best damage, and I don't really tank the most. So I sort of feel that with this like sort of pseudo tank build, you sort of are the middle ground, right? You are kind of tanky, but not a true tank. You kind of do damage, but you don't do as much damage as a carry. Now, in some games, I actually do the most damage on my team, and the only way that happens is really that your ADC is not doing well, or a mid lane is not doing well. Like the previous time I got auto-filled to Varus top ADC, Varus top tank build, I actually did the most damage on my team, more than my ADC, because my ADC wasn't doing well, whereas I was doing relatively well. And as a result, I will end up doing more damage than him. I also tanked the most damage on the team, so I could have used that gameplay. It was a loss, but that was a game where I got the highest damage and most tanked, which is quite an achievement for Varus top in my opinion. But I want to show this game instead, because I kind of want to show how tanky Varus top can be, and also how, you know, you can get a hit and you can take over the game playing tank Varus top. So here the enemy team is making a 4-man play onto the bottom side. Tower, they get the kills onto my bot lane, and they also get the tower. In trade, we're gonna get the top main tower. Now, of course, tower for tower, but losing out on 2 kills is a negative trade. However, we are trying to get the kill onto Cannon to see if we can make it a better trade. We can't really do that, and now at this point, the enemy team is gonna reset and come over to defend top lane, so we're not gonna be able to really do anything much there. Now, Xayah though has rotated to mid, right? And Galio is trying to make a play on her. But you can see from the replay tool, she says ult, flash, and heal, which is not surprising because I believe in a 4-man gank, she wouldn't need to expend her ult, right? So in my opinion, or not in my opinion, but when I was playing the game in real time here, I was thinking she probably has ult, so I don't really think me and Galio can really do anything much to her, because to kill her, Galio would have to get the engage onto her, and then I would have then to you know, chain CC her and probably kill her. But with her ult, if she plays it correctly, she can definitely avoid that. So here a fight is breaking out in the jungle, and here Rakan's going in. I tried to ult him, but I kind of whiff here, but we are still able to get the kill onto him eventually, because he's way behind enemy lines and he can't really get out, right? No teammate to jump to because he's so far behind. That is a way over aggressive Rakan. He's 0, 5, and 6. I think he's playing a little bit too aggressively there. Diana now attempting to go in on my team, which is very predictable. Tries to get off a huge ult. Now I make sure I don't get hit by the ult. I one-shot her. And then the ulti comes in from the Amumu. Now here I'm expecting the Xayah feather, so I actually sidestep it, but she actually already used it, which I didn't see. Like in the replay, I now noticed she actually pulled back already, but in the actual game, I thought she hadn't, so I was actually trying to dodge it. Now here Rakan, with a pretty huge Sterex, but tries to go in onto my entire team. Now of course that's not gonna work out. We get the kill onto him, and at this point, it kind of feels like my team is just snowballing the lead out of control, and we now have a 10k goal lead against the enemy team. At this point, I'm 5-0-4, right? Amumu is 9-0-11 at 10 minutes. That's 2 KP per minute, by the way, which is just nuts. But here we complete Heartsteel and we get an M-Tome as well. Now, of course, Heartsteel is going to be the aspect that makes us real tanky. The thing is, though, Dragon has spawned, and a lot of my team didn't actually back. So here I flash over to help them one-shot the Yasuo, make sure no one dies. Diana's going to be the next target. Pyke goes in for the stun. Doesn't hit it, but Diana dies. Anyway, Cannon's now coming in. And I'm not scared of Cannon whatsoever. He has gone for a crown first item, which means he does like 0 damage, right? He couldn't kill me before. There's no way he's killing me now with a crown. Even with ulti. I believe I can tank Cannon ulti and survive. By the way, just because of his itemization and how far ahead I am with my Heartsteel and all, I think I'll be absolutely fine getting ulted by Cannon. But the best thing is to just never find out, right? You don't want to get hit by an enemy ulti just because you won't die, right? Obviously. So here my team is all trying to reset, but the enemy team knows that and they're not letting them reset. Rakan's now going in, jumps away. Here Cannon getting chain CC. I'm trying to one-shot him, but unfortunately I get charmed by the Rakan while I'm charging my arrow, so I'm not able to get the arrow one-shot. Rakan eventually does get taken down. Yasuo and Xayah now on 1 HP running away. Xayah especially on 1 HP. I hit the arrow on her, but because I'm gone for a tank build and not the damage build, that arrow doesn't kill her. I think if I go for damage build, I think that arrow probably kills her here. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Now here I'm actually trying to get back, but I didn't notice this bush was warded. Here I popped the Gargoyles, which absorbs the entire damage of Diana ult, and you can see here I'm actually fighting back. I thought I would maybe survive here, but unfortunately I do end up dying eventually. And Diana and Cannon both escape scot-free. A little bit of unfortunate situation. Ganon now trapped in the middle of everybody trying to save me, and he ends up going down as well. Now Amumu is trying to run for the hills with Rakan engaging. The exhaust goes in, charm goes in, Rakan jumps the wrong direction, finally gets the knockup. Now Samira runs into Rakan and gets charmed herself. Samira tanks a ton of damage. Now Amumu is going in 1v4, takes apparently no damage, has a huge Gargoyles, and is still basically full health. Full stacked Force of Nature, full stack Twin Guard, he doesn't really even take any damage. And my team is now getting into yet another fight at the Baron area. We have a 1v1 between Yasuo and Samira on one side, and Pyke and Amumu versus the rest of the enemy team on the other side. The Samira-Yasuo fight ends up in a 1-for-1 trade, even, and the other fight kind of stops. It was kind of awkward for me because I basically walked to the fight and then there's no fight to be had anymore. And we just end up just walking away basically, right? So here, we're just going to take the Skull Crab, and with Yasuo and Xayah dead, this is prime time to do a Baron, right? So here, we're just going to focus the Baron. Now, of course, Diana, the jungler, is in the area, so we're going to have to probably get rid of her in order to secure this Baron, because Diana is going to be able to attempt, at least, to one-shot the Baron if we don't stop her. Galio is trying to zone her off. Now, we're trying to focus her. Rakan ends up going in, Diana goes down, Baron is really low, Smite comes in, Rakan's gonna die as well, and we get 2 kills and the Baron, and once again, we're in a very, very commanding position, kind of almost maintaining our 10k gold lead on the enemy team. Now with the Baron, we're going to be able to push forward. We have 3 Gargoyles on our team, by the way. Yasuo, I'm not sure what he's trying to do there. On myself, the Galio, as well as the Amumu. All of us are pretty tanky. Now we're going to be able to focus down this tower, probably get it without too much trouble, like so. However, of course, it's going to be pretty difficult to just end the game here. So instead, we're going to make use of the gold we got from our kills and such, and then just get a reset. Now here I'm really close to getting Riftmaker, which is why I'm basically forcing this wave. I get majority of the wave, enough gold for me to actually get Riftmaker. Now with the Baron recall, I'm going to be able to go back to base real quick. Pick up the Riftmaker, and now we're at 3 items, right? So you can see we already have decent amount of Heartsteel stacks just naturally. Like, the thing about going for this, right, is you don't particularly want to stack Heartsteel. It's gonna just happen naturally. So you can see here a huge fight actually breaks out in the top lane here, but I'm just split pushing, right? And my team is actually kind of semi-losing, right? They're kind of getting run down by the enemy team. I'm thinking, well, this might be trouble, right? So I'm thinking I might need to go up to that fight. So I'm thinking of taking the Hex Gate, and then Samira just picks up a Quadra kill, enemy team surrenders, and that is basically gonna be the game, right? So I'm walking to the base there, enemy team surrenders, I just pop everything just for fun, and there we have the dub. So, once again, I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.